Hello, it's Richard at GritStone CrossFit. I've had a few messages through my Instagram asking about workout 17.1, so I thought I'd just do upload the video for you to see and do a quick kind of discussion on how we prepared for it, how we executed it, what we learned from the Friday, nutrition wise, warm up wise, and just give I suppose a little look into how that worked for me. It's also, I think, a little bit different because a lot of the time, for example, I watch the videos that Dan Bailey did where he discusses how he goes through workouts, and I can learn a lot from that. But what I also need is someone who's like a stepping stone between me and Dan Bailey, because clearly whatever he's doing is probably a step beyond what I can do right now. I'm hoping, that the sharing of the information is really good, but also for me, this is a really good log to write down where I am right now, what I'm thinking, and probably compare this to in the future, which is mainly why I do a lot of my social media in the first place. So if I start the video off, first thing to notice is I'm at Form Leeds. I performed the workout on Friday night with my gym, GritStone CrossFit. I did it again on Monday, Monday about 2 in the afternoon at Form Leeds. I do it twice, often, because I can learn so much between the workouts. Often, I suppose it's to do with inexperience in competition. I'll often find that the first time I go through the workout, I can put my heart and soul into it, but perhaps the strategy isn't quite right. And by repeating it and changing that strategy, I can often find quite a lot of improvement. In this case, I made up 1 minute and 21 seconds. It was 14 minutes 23 on Friday, and it was 13 minutes and 2 on Monday. I'd been suffering a little bit with a cold, so I'd been taking loads of remedies and stuff, but I do generally think it was more to do with strategy than anything else. When people say 3, 2, 1, go, I don't care if I've got a cold or not, I'm gonna fucking go. So what did I do differently? The plan for Monday was to do, as you can see, step down burpees, where I was doing jump down burpees the first time. I think that the springy kind of like jumping up and down jacked my heart rate quite a fair bit, and it took me into a dark place, and I wanted to be early. So I really found that hard work in the burpees after the 30s and after the 40s. I went unbroken on the dumbbell, but I was changing hands on the floor every single time. On this occasion, I decided to pass the dumbbell across. I'd recognise that sometimes my grip wouldn't be as good on the dumbbell. I'd catch it funny, or it'd be weird as I moved it, but I accepted that sometimes I'll accept a bad grip on the dumbbell if it's moving quicker. Went through the first round on my splits. I was supposed to be doing a split of 130 at this point, and I got back to the dumbbell in 127. So I was really happy that the turnover speed had improved. On the number 20s and on the 30s, to be honest, these feel more like a buy-in in this workout. It's all about pacing, and I discovered after the first time. So the 10s, 20s and 30s, I tried to pace so that it really felt like the workout started in the 40s and 50s. As we move through the dumbbell snatches, there's a couple of things you can probably notice. I'm trying to push my bum back for every rep, which keeps my glutes and hamstrings working a bit better. I'm trying to keep my chest up nice and straight, and I'm trying to pass the dumbbell nice and high so I've got a chance to get a good grip on it before it touches the floor. On the first occasion, I held the dumbbell so it was fist downwards, and it was perpendicular to the direction of my body. And the second time I did it, so it was parallel to the direction of my body, and I just felt that helped me find also a swing with the dumbbell, more like a kettlebell in the first part of the movement. So the dumbbell could go back between my heels, and as I drove it forward, I could get a bit of a swing and just pop it up with my hips, which was way more comfortable too. The burpees, as I say, I was very springy the first time and bouncing off the floor. This time I tried to have a pace where it was step, step, jump, step, step, down. Burpee, step, step, jump, step, step, down, so on and so forth. Having the rhythm actually helped me because it gives me that just constant momentum, and sometimes in my head I have loads of visual imagery that I try and use to help me out in workouts, and one of them is a steam train, the non-stop movement of a steam train. They're big, they're heavy, and they have that cycle that just goes round and round and round and round and round and round. And maybe it's because I'm big, old and heavy, but I have that in my head, be a steam train, one speed all the way through this workout. Don't stop, don't speed up, don't slow down. You go at your most efficient pace all the way through if you can. And I think doing the steps really helped me to do that. I finished my 15 burpees, let me see, 327, that finished, and I knew that my split time would be needed to be under 340, so I was a little bit ahead. In this workout, I'd pace my split times on going between, say, about 13, 15, a little bit above and a little bit below. In this case, I say I was a little bit ahead, and that was good because I wanted to push below 13 minutes if I could. When I assessed the workout, I thought 12 to 13 minutes would be really good, but I thought there'd be certain people who'd go quicker. you just have a feeling that way. There's a lot of me to move up and over that box, and it's really engine based, and I find that I'm better on more complex workouts or workouts with a heavy barbell. So in this case, I was aiming under 13 minutes to be in like a nice strongish bracket. As I reach those milestones and those split times, that gives you confidence, because throughout this workout, a few things are going through my head, but one of them are those same negative thoughts that other people get. You're saying to yourself, you're tired, the dumbbell's not moving as well, your back's starting to hurt, your thighs are pumping up, your heart rate's really high, and you have to prepare yourself beforehand with what you're going to say to yourself to get you through that. And in this case, my self-talk is always about, you've trained all year for this. Are you going to let yourself down with, the finish line in sight? We've got 5 weeks of work to do, and this is the end. You've worked hard for this. The other thing I also tell myself a lot of the time is, you're a big, strong athlete. You're a role model. You're a coach. Are you going to be the athlete that stops? No, you're not going to be the athlete that stops. You're a role model. You're going to put down the best score you possibly can, and you're going to put your heart and soul into this, because that's what everyone deserves to see. And I just tell myself that over and over again. The other thing I tell myself quite a lot, though, is like, you've got this. This isn't a problem. This is exactly where you should be in the workout. Is your heart rate high? Yes, it should be. Are you feeling tired? Yes, you should be. But this is where like winners and losers are made, and I just keep telling myself that over and over again. You're exactly where you need to be. You want this. You really want to be this tired. You really want to be breathing this heavily. If you weren't in the right place. And just having those conversations in your head, like when something sneaks in, ready, is so positive. So these things are going around in my head, just like everybody else. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling my heart rate jacked, and I'm just trying to self-talk myself through calmness and keep myself focused throughout that. Stu's going alongside me. Part of the reason why I went to form is that Stu is, obviously, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best athletes I've got to train with, and perform to a much higher level than I ever have. And whereas I'll go through split times, he can go through the feel of a workout, and he knows how tired or how powerful or how he should feel and how his pacing should be. So having around me just kept my reassurance that I was in the right place. I'd picked up a few reps on him early on in the workout, and the other thing I had in my head was like, just keep those reps on him, because as much as we're good friends and I'm so grateful for everything he's done for me, if we go head to head, I want to win, and he will tell you the same every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. So those few extra reps are now pushing me on. At this point, when you're fatiguing, my lower back's going, I'm thinking really hard about getting the dumbbell touching the floor properly, pushing my head through, squeezing my elbow at the top. I've got quite big back and shoulders, I've got terrible shoulder mobility, so I'm working hard to make sure every rep's a good rep and I fail none of them. And I suppose that brings me on to my preparation as well. My left shoulder has been dislocated and torn rotator cuff, my left elbow's been dislocated and I tore some ligaments in there, my left wrist has been broken, and I have a ganglion cyst as well in there, just to really aid matters. So warm up, what did I do differently? In this workout, I went in and I did a warm-up provided by Mike at MoveFit, which was double unders and kettlebell swings, Russian swings. It kept me light, kept me moving, got my heart rate up, and got my posterior chain warm. Then I did sumo deadlift high pulls and over the bar burpees, which again started to build in some of that movement pattern and get me used to what I was going to be doing. And then finally, we worked on movement prep itself, practicing passing the dumbbell, practicing getting over the box, and making sure that all the movements felt fluid between the two. Additionally, I do my own warm-ups. I always put my own stuff together. I'd use the Compex machine on my lower back during the weekend to revive on the reviving massage setting, and then, use the activation phase before the workout as well. I also did shoulder preparation, where I use voodoo floss and voodoo bands to band my shoulders, but also to do activation drills to make sure all my rotator cuff and all my shoulders are in really good positions, and then I stretched. I like doing inchworms, so I always do inchworms. I like doing lunge complexes, so I do lunge complexes. I like doing PVC pipe pass-throughs, so I do some of those as well. And then anything else that I feel necessary. Food-wise, I had done some specific stuff this weekend. I've been tracking my macros for probably 6 months, and for the past 3 months, I've been fairly tight on my macros in terms of exactly how much I want to eat, when I want to eat it, and I've been slowly improving. If you want to see any of that, it's all public on my MyFitnessPal, and you can just see what I eat. I have good days and bad days like everybody else. This day I'd woken up, had quite a big breakfast. I had granola, Skyer yogurt, I'd had Hench Fuel, I'd had Saurine, so I'd had a mix of quite high carbs, good amount of proteins, relatively low fats, and then I had nothing from 2 hours before the workout. Partially fasted, again that was advice from Mike at MoveFit, which was useful. From that point onwards, I just drank my BCAAs and a carbohydrate drink, which kept my blood glucose pretty high and kept me fueled during the workout, but also stopped me feeling sickly during the workout, which is really important on something like this. By the time I came to the end of these burpees, they say I'm pretty gassed. I went to put my hands on my hips, and that's one thing that in the Air Force I used to be in, they used to absolutely hate. So at that point, I'm crucifying myself and saying, taking your hands off your fucking hips and pick the dumbbell up. And it's that kind of anger that sometimes pushes me on. This now, at the split time, we're just in the 9-minute mark. I'm ahead of where I want to be, and it's absolutely game time. I'm ahead of where I want to be, and I know that perhaps I might have gone out a little bit quick and I could have been more efficient in places. There may have to be a pause coming up in these dumbbell snatches, so I'm preparing myself for that. What am I going to do to pause? I'm going to put the dumbbell down, I'm going to walk a few steps away, take a deep breath, turn around and go pick the dumbbell up. I'm not going to go for chalk. I'm not going to fuck around with, wiping sweat off my face. I'm going to go, take a deep breath, come back and pick the dumbbell up. That's one thing as well, like I never wear a shirt for a workout. I know it sounds really stupid, but I find the excuse to fanny around with a shirt and just wipe my forehead and all the rest of it as just one excuse to rest. In the same way, I like wearing gymnastic scripts for almost everything, because it's one excuse to stay away from the chalk bucket, and take a rest. I don't like having water with me because it's an excuse to take a rest. I don't like wrist wraps because you can play around with them and turn them. It's an excuse to have a rest. I like to tie my hair up tight, and I sometimes wear a headband because I don't like the excuse of fucking around my hair during a workout. Like, I am the person, same as everybody else, who will use that as an excuse to take 5 seconds. And if I remove them, it allows me to stay more disciplined and focused on the task, and that saves me seconds. And for someone like me who's just middling, trying to become a better athlete, those few seconds are absolutely essential. You can see I took my rest there, but I came straight back and carried on, and I'm really happy with that. But I'm really beginning to feel the effects of this workout right now. This is my second rest, I think at the 40 mark. Take a deep breath, stand up, turn around, pick the fucking dumbbell up. I know I could do better than this time, because some of these rest periods I don't think are 100% necessary. I think I could have stayed over the dumbbell and not walked away in an ideal world, but you live and you learn. And we're coming towards the end of the workout. I can hear a couple of my friends in the building now asking me to push on, and I can hear their voices. Normally I don't hear anybody during a workout, but at this stage I can start to hear people now calling me on, and that's really helping. I've got the last couple of dumbbell snatches, and you can see my form starting to break down now, where I'm just ripping the dumbbell off the floor any way I can, and I'm going to start to move to the boxes. On the boxes, I'm just going to try and tell myself to try and keep that pace up, keep that pace up, keep that pace up. Oh my god, I look absolutely fucked here. I'm no longer staying low, my back's jacked at this point, landing on the box is quite uncomfortable, so I'm just trying to tell myself to keep dropping to the floor and move on. At this point, I mean, from last year I've put on quite a lot of size for doing, from last year, about 2 years ago, doing so much strength work, and I can feel every kilo that I've added this year, trying to get over this box. I'm trying to do the same footwork, same pattern if I can, and just ignore the pain in your body. At this point I'm just telling myself, a few more reps and you can lie down, because all of what I do right now is stop. God, it looks worse watching it than it does actually doing it. Doing it was horrible, but watching it's really bad. Pushing on, and then we've got probably just a couple of minutes afterwards where I'll just die on the floor. I think I remember that I couldn't move over to Stu to high five him, so I rolled like a sideways roll all the way across to get a high five. I was so fucked. And I suppose that brings me what do you do afterwards. As soon as this finished, I went on I recovered for like 10 minutes or something. Then I went on the assault bike and just spun my legs out. Then I did just a few like little stretches, and then I started to fuel up again. I had a really kind of big refeed, lots of carbohydrates, clean carbohydrates that was, some proteins and some fats. And then I coached that night and stayed mobile. At this point on the floor, you're in that state where you're absolutely screwed. But even so, I remember thinking, 13:02, I could have got 12 something at least. But I suppose that's the nature of doing these things. So 17.1, I'm relatively happy with it. I think I could have done a little bit better. Good points I learned from the 2 sessions. I put a very high effort in on the Friday, which I was really proud of. I managed to put the same effort in on the Monday, but because of improvement in skills, I feel like I got more efficiency and I got a better time. So I'm really happy with that. The throwing of the dumbbell, really happy with that, never done that before. Learning from the box jumps, happy. And I suppose overall, just yeah, pretty solid result. It starts off the open pretty well. As I say, I think I could have gone faster, but you know, it is what it is. Things that I'm not happy with. Ideally, I'd like a better first score, and I'd like to be better at judging how this workout's going to go. I think over the course of the weekend I could have had better nutrition and sorted myself a little bit tidier over the Friday and the Saturday, just to make sure I was in a better place. And hydration as well, making sure I had up to 4 litres of water a day. That would have really helped. But overall, pretty happy with the workout. If you have any questions or anything you want to send me, obviously I'm on Instagram. You can send me on YouTube or any other means. I'll see you after 17.2. Let's hope for some really heavy squat cleans.